we have guests here in the room as well. I'm going to go through the rules again. We have 6 speakers. The debate motion has already been provided to them in advance so that they were able to prepare. And how we're going to be doing this is we will first call up, we have the team affirmative who's logged in online. We have the opening speaker, Adam, the rebuttal speaker, Nicholas, and the closing speaker, Dennis. For team opposition, we have our opening speaker, Pranav, rebuttal speaker, Gayatri, and closing speaker, Richa. In terms of timing, the opening speakers and rebuttal speakers will get 3 minutes each. The timer for the speakers in the room is Prashant Trikanath. I hope you guys can see where he is. And for the speakers online, the timer is Toastmaster Natalia. In terms of timing, we will have for the opening and rebuttal speakers, the green light goes on at 2 minutes, the yellow light at 2 minutes 30 seconds, the red light at 3 minutes, and then there will be 10 seconds of grace. After the 10 seconds are over, the timer will start clapping and everybody will follow suit. So there's no disqualifications. The idea is whatever you're speaking only within the allocated time should be considered for the voting essentially, and also for the speakers to be able to include in their rebuttals. The closing speakers will have 2 minutes. So the green light is at 1, the yellow at 1.5, and the red light at 2 minutes, and again 10 seconds of grace. Now, in terms of speaking order, the debate will start with the opening speaker from Team Affirmative, which is the team from Chambers Club, followed by the opening speaker from Team Opposition. Then we will have the rebuttal speaker from Team Opposition, followed by the rebuttal speaker from Team Affirmative, closing speaker from Team Opposition, and finally the closing speaker from Team Affirmative. I don't like calling them Team Negative, which is why I'm saying Team Opposition. I know they're sometimes negative, but well, that comes with the territory, I guess. All right, any questions from anyone? Okay. All right, and what I'm also going to do is I'm going to switch on the video here so that when the speaker is speaking, you can also see them very clearly as well. So if you'd like to refute their facial expressions and all, by all means, go ahead. You're not required to, but yeah, I'll leave that up to you. Yeah. Okay, so and also what I'm going to do is when the speakers online are going to be speaking, I'm going to ask our Zoom master to turn up the volume here. And when the speakers here are coming up to speak, I'll ask him to turn down the volume. This is just to avoid the echo. All right. The debate topic is empathy interferes with your job. Empathy interferes with your job. To start the debate, can I invite the opening speaker from Team Affirmative, Toastmaster Adam? If you can just unmute yourself. And we'll just make sure you're audible.
Well, hello. Hello. Well.
All right. So Toastmaster Adam, your 3 minutes starts now.
Over the course of decades or even centuries or millennia, humanity has made monumental progress. We went from nothing but animals struggling to survive to being able to land on the moon. Never before have we been able to live in such high comfort. What is the cause of such a thing? Well, among other things, it's our meritocracy and mechanistic efficiency. In that sense, that we do things based on just an algorithm and not emotion. Now, this is where empathy comes into play. Empathy is like a spanner in the works. Instead of following rules and which have brought us so far in the development of our species, we've instead prioritized good in the short term of the good in the long term. Now, this might be very vague, so let's bring it to something specific. For example, the year is 2008. Housing has never before been so available. Mortgages are so easy to get, even for the people who are not supposed to get one. Likely to treat, but also it can be argued that empathy also interferes in here in this system, and it caused one of the largest economic crises in history, of which we have, I think, just recovered. If this is not enough, then let us zoom from the macroeconomics to the microeconomics. Let's start to go into, for example, your daily decisions. In healthcare, for example, a doctor has rules on which they have to prioritize patients. But if they are focused on empathy, this system breaks down. Instead of focusing people who, for example, do need the surgery most, they focus on the people who suffer the most. If this trend was to continue, we might even devolve from our society as a whole into nepotism and chaos and distrust of each other. Thank you, and I pass the word on to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Adam. Now I'm going to invite the opening speaker from Team Opposition, Toastmaster Pranav. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Good evening, fellow worthy opponents, Toastmasters, and guests. We stand against the motion, empathy interferes with your job. So what is empathy? According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it is the ability to understand and share another person's feelings without them explicitly stating them. What is jobs? Again, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it is a regular remunerative position. So let me state our team's arguments on why we feel that empathy doesn't interfere with your job. Number one, empathy enhances leadership and team performance. In Germany, Siemens employs empathetic leadership strategizes that emphasizes employee well-being and open communication by integrating empathy into leadership practices. The company has observed improvements in employee engagement and productivity. A McKinsey study in 2023 emphasizes that when leaders prioritize empathetic communication, it fosters trust and collaboration, significantly enhancing team performance. Managers who engage empathetically with their teams also set the tone for a more inclusive and motivated workforce. Empathy drives customer satisfaction and loyalty. In Europe, IKEA exemplifies empathetic customer engagement by focusing on sustainability and understanding the needs of the diverse customer base. The company fosters loyalty across its markets. Salesforce, a top-rated CRM platform, reports that 91% of customers globally, including those in Europe, prefer brands that demonstrate empathy in addressing their concerns. This understanding is vital for cultivating long-term relationships. So with the above facts and figures stated by me, I urge the House to stand against the motion and empathy interferes with your job. Back to the debate moderator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pranav. I'll just get Toastmaster Benjamin. Oh no, leave the volume down. All right, now our next speaker is going to be the rebuttal speaker from Team Opposition, Toastmaster Gayatri. Give it a big hand.
Distinguished adjudicators, members of the House, and my worthy opponent, it seems we have added an eighth sin to the 7 deadly ones: empathy, greed, envy, pride, wrath, and now caring for others. Empathy, truly groundbreaking. Now, before I dive into my rebuttal, let me ask you all a simple question. What exactly is it do we want? We lament the injustices in our world, but now we are ready to condemn empathy. Why? Because making someone's experience with us meaningful is suddenly a problem. Of all the topics that we could have chosen, out of all the topics that were worth discussing, empathy has become the villain. Now let us unpack this absurdity. Now, my opponent would want us to believe that empathy, yes, the supposedly dreadful habit about caring for others, interferes with the system. What system? Does he mean the rock band system by a dawn? Does he mean the system where robots existed? And honestly, putting economy on crisis? What economy is he referring to? Economy at a time where Babylonia was still a country? Now, first, my opponent argues that empathy puts economy on crisis. But before I even get into that, where were the statistics to support his arguments? It seemed he was hell bent and focused more on his travel expeditions from Spain to, to so many other countries that he couldn't even list. A study by the Center for Creative Research says otherwise. A study by the Center for Creative Leadership, surveying over 6,700 professionals across 38 countries, found that leaders high in empathy had teams with 40% higher engagement rates than their low empathy counterparts. Empathy doesn't interfere with the system, it refines it by fostering understanding and connection. Now, let us consider Ratan Tata, the celebrated Indian industrialist who put India on the global map. After the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, Tata didn't stop at writing checks or issuing statements because he personally visited all the affected families, providing financial aid, jobs, and education for their children. His empathy was not a PR strategy because social media wasn't even a concept at that time. It was a genuine leadership that strengthened loyalty and trust in the Tata Group. And finally, it seemed that my opponent was quite confused as to which side he wanted to pick. Which tree did he want to bark at? The right or the left, the center? Which one? And then lastly, he mentions that empathy dissolves into nepotism and chaos. Again, where were the examples? What are we supposed to do with that? What are we supposed to ponder upon? In fact, a 2022 Harvard Business Review study of over 5,000 US consumers found that companies perceived as empathetic enjoyed 25% of higher customer loyalty rates. Empathy fosters trust and attention, making it a competitive advantage and not a liability.
Thank you so much, Sushma Gayatri. And I'll just get Benjamin to turn up the volume for our next speaker. All right. Our next speaker is the rebuttal speaker from Team Affirmative. Toastmaster Nicholas, your 3 minutes starts now.
Yeah, so hello guests, commission and worthy opponents. So yeah, we heard some statistics and some really nice persuasive words, but I fear that there is no meaning or reason behind them because yeah, some statistics were brought to our attention, but the inner mechanisms why it should work were not present to us. Just, oh, some guy did this and like 25 kajillion people we tested it on and these were the results. So, yeah, but why? Because apart from my opponents, I can explain to you why that is not a good idea. So let's take a case where we have some people on the project and some colleague struggles with his work, and let's say I be empathetic and I will help him. By that, I will rob him by firstly hard skills and also the soft skills. So if I help someone with a thing that he is able to do on his own, I degrade him. That works in job and works in real life as well. So yeah, but what if he doesn't know how to do it? Well, he should be proactive and use his soft skills to ask others or communicate but when I help him uh, with my empathetic mindset, I will rob him of these experiences. And he might not develop them, and he will be just the dead weight on the team. But if he will do it on himself, it will also encourage him and increase his self-esteem and make him more proficient worker. And so we should be working on the base of meritocracy. We should be professionals, and even if we have tough life situations. So yeah, we'll be empathetic towards that guy because he has some problems in his life. No, we should be professionals, and there will be others who will do the work during those tough times, and those are the heroes. And we should all strive to be a hero as such. Thank you for your attention, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nicholas. Let me invite the closing speaker for Team Affirmative, Toastmaster Richa. Let's give it a big hand.
How many of you would like to quit your job if you do not get leaves or when you are not well or someone in your family is not well? Please raise your hands. So this clearly shows with the people raising their hands that how much empathy is important for each one of us. Good evening, fellow opponents, moderators, and guests. As stated by my opening speaker, he clearly stated the meaning of empathy and job from Merriam-Webster. My opening speaker emphasized how empathy enhances leadership and team performance, giving example of Siemens in Germany, which helped in engagement and productivity of employees. Together with that, he gave the second example of IKEA in Europe, which has led to more customer retention by focusing on empathetic behavior among customers. Empathy also reduces conflicts, as stated by my opening speaker, and it improves well-being of the workforce. As stated by my rebuttal speaker, who negated all the points stated by the opening speaker of the opposition, which she clearly stated that if we do not consider empathy, we are creating a sin. In fact, there is nothing like crisis, or there was no statistics presented by the opposition party. I would like to close by saying that empathy interferes with your job. I would stand against the motion. And
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Richa. Just ask Benjamin to turn up the volume. All right, and let's welcome our closing speaker for the debate and for Team Affirmative, Toastmaster Dennis. The floor is yours. Your 2 minutes starts now.
I want to thank everybody here for giving your valuable time to this important question. Does empathy actually make us better or make us worse? And the answer actually, I think, is clear. If we look at the real success stories around the planet, the individuals that we as almost universally look up to. Elon Musk, for example, has zero empathy. As soon as he took over Twitter, he fired 40% of his staff. As soon as he began working on Tesla, the first thing he did was eliminate everybody who didn't perform at maximum capacity. He has no empathy, and he is now one of the richest people on the planet. You look at the world leaders, Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has no empathy whatsoever, and yet he controls a country with a nuclear arsenal and hundreds of millions of people, and one of the richest countries on the planet. You look at Saudi Arabia, another fabulous place. The wealthiest people there have no empathy. The poverty in Saudi Arabia is extraordinary. Look to India as well. The richest people do not have empathy for the poorest of the poor. They keep their empathy to themselves, and that's how they become successful. So when we look at IKEA, sure, IKEA is easy. Or we look at Salesforce, sure, they might have big numbers, but guaranteed the owners of those companies have very little empathy. It's marketing that makes them empathetic. So I want you all to think about that when you debate whether or not empathy is good for the job. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time. All right, I will get the speakers to return to their seats, and you can. Yeah. Thank you. One of the specialities of this club, not just that we focus on debates, but we also have a debate evaluation where typically we have a more seasoned debater who comes up here and gives feedback on what went really well and what could have been done differently. And this would be for each of the speakers on both the teams. And to deliver this evaluation for today, we have quite the seasoned debater who, well, he realized that he wasn't getting enough debate experience in his home club. So he decided to join this one as well. And we are definitely very glad that he did. And hopefully when the contest season comes around, well, next year, since he's not allowed to take part this year, is because he is the area director as well. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Benjamin Oman to perform today's debate evaluation. Go and begin.
Thank you so much. Guests from Chambers, am I audible? Can I get a thumbs up?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. Thank you, Dennis. Okay, so for the benefit of the guests in the room and in the virtual room, I'll tell you what this session is and what it isn't. What it isn't is a judgment on which team won. Okay, I'm not going to say whether team affirmative or team opposition carried today's debate. What it is going to be is an analysis of how each speaker performed their role and how the way they did that contributed to the overall cohesion of the team, the overall impact that the team made. All right. So we had 3 speaking roles today: opening speech, rebuttal speech, and closing speech. Again, we have some guests or people who may not be very familiar with the format. So before I start each person's introduction, I'll give a short summary of what that session should be like. So we had 2 opening speeches. The opening speech basically sets the stage for your team. It's in this format of debate, it's the one time when you can actually make your arguments and make them very strongly, very emphatically, right? So both of the speakers did a good job today. I'll go speaker by speaker. Toastmaster Adam, he had good language. I really enjoyed his language, with the caveat that sometimes simple language is better. He did have really a very lucid language, but there were some points, there were some words that I think were a little bit, 9 caliber. They were a little bit heavy and sort of distorted the message a little bit for me. Okay, but overall good language used throughout. He had logic in his arguments. I could make out 2 very strong points that he made, like that empathy leading to the economic crisis, and then zooming into the microeconomic, from the macroeconomic. I think that was really nicely done. But again, I don't know if that was structured in a way to really hammer it home to the audience, right? It would have been nice if he had structured the logic a little bit more, even though it did come out clearly. And of course, the fact that, really there was no data to back up the points that he was talking about, and that is something that the rebuttal speaker picked on. So anytime you present something without data, it could be very easily said that it's an opinion, rebutted that way. So data is key for an opening speaker. Make your point, make it emphatically, do it with data. Okay, Toastmaster Pranav did that well. He defined the topics and the keywords really well, and he had data as well. Couple of things I think Toastmaster Pranav could have done better. He, of course, stumbled on the word empathetic. It's maybe a little bit of a tongue twister, but it's worth practicing if you're the opening speaker that you don't stumble on that word, that keyword. Okay, and also his points, he was moving very, very quickly from data point to data point to data point. I didn't really hear what the inferences were of those data points. And again, the rebuttal speaker from the opposition picked on that well. He said that there was a lot of data, but what was the meaning behind the data? To me also, it was a little bit unclear what that data represented, what actually the inference was from the data. So if he had, again, structured it a little bit better, this is my first point, here's the data point to support it, this is what that means. There's a formula that makes it very, very clear as an opening speaker, okay? So overall, opening speakers, one of you didn't define the topic and one of you didn't provide data, one of you didn't have too much structure, okay? So work on those things. Now, the rebuttal speakers, what do the rebuttal speakers do? They are meant to pick on the opening speaker's arguments, pick them apart with supporting data if they have it, if they don't, using sarcasm, humor, everything. So our two rebuttal speakers today, Toastmaster Gayatri, I like that she hit it bang on that this was a speech with zero facts, no stats. So she did pick that out really well. Probably she could have gone in for the kill a little bit more with that, right? Made the point that you're just stating an opinion. I think her rebuttal to that point for me was a little bit confusing with the examples that she added on. For example, she said something about Babylon. I mean, I was sort of blindsided by what was going on there. It was a little bit confusing to me. So I think keep it simple. Pick on what the person says. Say why it's wrong in simple language. Yeah, and again, speak a little bit slow. I think Gayatri has a great tempo for speaking because of her command of the language. That's a good thing, but speak a little bit slower so that the audience catches as well what you're doing. I believe she brought in a couple of data points that were her own and that I couldn't really make the connection how she was rebutting someone else's point with. So just for the benefit of the guests, in this format, the rebuttal speaker should really only be bringing a new data point if it's to specifically rebut something that the opening speaker says. So I think there were a couple of data points that were brought in that didn't seem to me to be exactly attacking what the opening speaker said. Okay, and time. She does speak fast, but she's got so much to say that she still runs out of time at the end. So please be aware of your time. When you see the red light go on, you really should be winding up and not bringing in a new data point. Okay, so good job, Gayatri. Toastmaster Nicholas, he started with sarcasm and really also hit on the point that there were a lot of stats, but not much meaning to the stats. Again, it would have been good if he ran with that a little bit and specifically refuted that, like using the opposition speaker's words. It would have been great if he could have picked out a couple of things that the opposition opening speaker said and mentioned why they were wrong, because he did say that there were a lot of stats but no meaning, but after that he went on a tangent of his own, like bringing in new points, okay? So he didn't pick any one specific point that the opposition opening speaker said. I think that would have been a really valuable rebuttal if he was able to do that. So good job, both of the rebuttal speakers. Just remember, the key is to pick on what the opening speaker says. Use their words against them. That's the most effective way. I don't think either of the rebuttal speakers did that. Mention something that the opening speaker said verbatim and then demonstrate why that's wrong with a data point or with an opposing point. Yeah, so use the opposition's words against them. This is important. Now, finally, we come to the closing speeches. The closing speech, the role, again, in this format, is to summarize what your last two teammates did. Mention what the opening speaker, the points that the opening speaker made, again, emphatically, and mention how your rebuttal speaker was able to refute what the opposition's opening said. Remember that the closing speaker is the last impression, so it's really important, the effectiveness of the delivery and the emphasis with which you do it. Okay, Toastmaster Richa, I think she gave us a really textbook closing in terms of the points. She summarized what the opening speaker said. She summarized what the rebuttal speaker said. There were some things that were in there that were a little bit confusing. I think she was going for a little bit of emphasis with that initial question. How many of you want to quit your job when someone is not feeling well? For me, the quit was a little bit confusing. Maybe not the right word to use there. Take leave, right? Because quit your job, I don't know. I wouldn't put my hand up for that. So maybe just think about the usage of the word. Okay, that was for me. And a little bit more drama, I think, a little bit more. She was going for the drama with that question. But that theater is required in the closing speaker role, really. That way with words. And I think Dennis did that well. He was very emphatic, but frankly, Dennis, I don't think he performed the textbook role of a closing speaker, which is to summarize what your past two speakers said. He had a point of view, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the point of view was that empathy should not interfere with work. That was what I got from Dennis's closing message. Okay, and this actually brings me to one of the things that I find strange about this debate was to me, if you looked at that at the motion, empathy interferes with your job. For me, one of the key words is interferes. I don't think any of the teams actually made the point that it does interfere. So, in my opinion, the team affirmative would have taken the stance that empathy does interfere, whether that's good or bad. Maybe there's positive interference as well, right? And the negative team would have made the stance that empathy does not interfere with your job. So it was a little bit strange to me that the debate was centering around the word empathy. It became a debate on whether empathy was good or bad, and not whether it actually interferes with the job. This is my opinion. This is what I got as an audience. Okay, so I think in the preparation stage of the debate, it's really important you take some time to identify what the key word is that you'll be that will form the crux of your argument. Yes. So to me, if you ask me as an objective person, the empathy interferes with your job. The word around which the whole motion revolved was interferes. Yeah. So again, this is all my opinion. And evaluation is always an opinion in Toastmasters. Take from it what you can, and those the things that don't make sense to you, you can leave to the side. Right. That being said, it's been an engaging debate with quite a challenging topic. Appreciations to the club from Chambers. Hats off for you. I believe this is your first debate in this format, so really well done. Looking forward to seeing you again with us. And Take Debate, of course, are seasoned debaters. It was conducted in a very gracious way. So hats off to both of the teams, and looking forward to so many more debates from all of you moving forward. Over to you. Moderator.
Yes, I want to say something actually. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Benjamin. I actually just took the stage back just to let people here know how this came about. So Toastmaster Benjamin has been attending a lot of meetings online. I hope his company is hiring, because I'd love to get a job there as well. They give me so much time. And he happened to come across this particular club. And he mentioned to them that we are a debating club, so that had piqued their interest. And why I chose to come back up here, one is to appreciate Benjamin for bringing this about, and also to appreciate the members of Chambers Club. For those of you who don't know, this club is actually based out of Ukraine. It's just that their members are currently, I think one of them is actually logging in from Kiev. So just wanted to appreciate them for pursuing Toastmasters despite the circumstances and also pursuing new avenues like this. So thank you, Benjamin, for bringing this about, and thank you to the members of Chambers for taking up the opportunity. And hopefully, you've gained from it as much as we have from your club. All right. And with that, I'll turn back over to the president of the club, Toastmaster Panit.
Thank you, DTM Vinod and Toastmaster Benjamin, for taking us through to the debate and as well as acknowledging our online members from Chambers Toastmasters. How did you like the meeting today? Great. I forgot to take guest introduction in the beginning, I believe. So, okay, could I have now the feedback of how you like the meeting today? Just one sentence maybe, starting with guest Hussein.
First time I was sitting out of this, so it was amazing back and forth and picking each sentence or facts or points from. It was amazing.
Great. Then Toastmaster Sri Devi.
I've been to the club earlier, for the club contest as a term, so quite familiar with him. I have been a part of debate earlier too, but debate valuation is something new to me, so I enjoyed it.
Great. Toastmaster Punya.
And I also learned something from the debater, and I also enjoyed your debate, and thank you so much.
So yes, so we have our members online. Could we have, like, as we still have some, okay, I see Toastmaster Dennis saying he has to leave. Okay, quickly, could I have your feedback? Oh, you left. Okay, Toastmaster Nicholas, then we can have Toastmaster Natalia and Toastmaster Adam. If we could have your feedback from your end. How did you like the meeting? How was your first meeting with us, experienced debaters? How did you like it? One of you can start and then the rest can follow.
I guess I can start.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
debates, well, they are actually quite a new concept for me. I've only been a Toastmaster for all my history, and so, yeah, okay, I do admit that what the evaluator said was indeed true. Like, my take on this did not have data because I still came from the background of being Toastmasters, where it's more about how you say it than what you actually say. So this was a shock for me, but it's quite a welcome one actually.
Great. Toastmaster Nicholas or Toastmaster Natalia?
Yeah, I can follow. So actually, I have been part of a debate club, I think for 1 or 2 months, but there were not enough of us, so we disbanded. So, but I in those times I really enjoyed it, and I was very excited for this meeting, and it didn't disappoint. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and now I'm thinking that I would start again with debating, but in the online space, if synchro stars, whatever the word, are as they are. So I really enjoyed it. After some time, I still love it, and I very appreciate that we were able to have this joint meeting, and I could debate once more. So thank you for that.
Great. Thank you for your feedback. And can we have Toastmaster Natalia also say a few words? I haven't heard you today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting, because for me it's a very new way. I joined Toastmaster Club only several months ago, and this form of debate was quite new for me and very, very interesting. It's a good experience, not only for speaking, but for improvisation. And you not only speak, but you have to practice thinking and improvise. And this is very cool. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your feedback, Toastmaster Natalia. So we would like to have, is it all okay? Toastmaster Aditya? Yeah. We would like to have you all back with us very soon. I will have DT and Vinod in touch with you, all of you, back in at Chambers, and I'm sure we can all meet again on this online platform. If you all are in Dubai, you can come down to Dubai Public Library in Mankhool, and we can have a physical debate session as well. So with that, I have a set of awards which I would like to give away. So we had, I'll start with the table topics first. The best table topics goes to Toastmaster Gayatri. The best debate. Do we go with the debate team or debater first?
Team.
Okay. The best debate team goes to the team who was against the motion, team opposition, Toastmaster Pranav, Toastmaster Gayatri, and Toastmaster Richard. What is that? Thank you. And the best debater goes to Toastmaster Dennis from the opposition team, from the affirmative team. I believe he's not in a meeting, but for sure I will have his certificate sent out to him through DM Vinod. And I have few announcements to make. Number one being we will have our debate contest in the club on the 18th of January. No, I'm missing the date, I guess. The third week of January, basically. The third week of January. And the club contest, which has the international evaluation, humorist, and table topics. Like I said, I would like everyone to participate as much as possible in that. We would be conducting in the first weekend of February, so that we finish all the 4 segments in one go, so that we don't have to sit 2 hours on a weekday, and we can finish all of it in one go. So with that, I close the 108th meeting closed.